I'm Lauren Green. Welcome to Bias Bash. In the early days of the 2016 presidential campaign, Marco Rubio was built up by the media as a savvy politician. But looking at his recent performance in the latest GOP debate and his fifth-place finish in the New Hampshire primary, could the media have been wrong, or have they simply been ignoring Rubio's flaws? Joining me with media analysis is Justin Duckham, senior Washington correspondent for Talk Media News. Welcome, Justin.
Hey, great to be here.
So is the media wrong? Did they ignore Rubio's flaws?
Well, I think it's time to dispel the fiction that Marco Rubio is a savvy politician. Seriously, this is not really anything surprising if you have been watching Marco Rubio for any long period of time. And the media really should have noticed this a lot sooner. This is somebody who, frankly, is a little bit of an empty suit. That's sort of a criticism that's leveled against him quite frequently and is, in fact, pretty well justified. He gets a lot of flack as being sort of a political chameleon. He was somebody who rode the wave of Tea Party support in 2012. Or in 2010 rather, and now is sort of establishing himself as the GOP sort of standard bearer for the moderates within the party. He's somebody who gets a lot of flack for initially supporting immigration reform and then running away from that the moment that the heat got a little bit too hot. And frankly, on my way over here, I was Googling just instances in which we had Marco Rubio clarify his remarks, wherein he would say something a little bit dopey and then backtrack the moment that it got some criticism. And there are quite a few of them. There's Rubio clarifies stances on social issues. Marco Rubio clarifies comments on Paris attacks. Marco Rubio clarifies his position on abortion. We have a lot of politicians who say dopey things, but ultimately people like Ted Cruz or Donald Trump end up standing by them. Marco Rubio is somebody who's transparently political and really just runs away from it. So, seeing Marco Rubio acting like a politician, I'm frankly just not very surprised.
Very interesting, though, because, the media is so wonderful while you're the favorite, while you're the darling, and now they're blaming the media for the problem. I mean, is the media really at fault, or is Rubio saying something really justified in that, he has to say the 50 performances or 50 appearances, the media is going to hear everything he says 50 times over, whereas, the people who are going to his campaign stops may have not heard it once. So he's saying, I have to say things over and over again.
No, that's certainly true. I've covered my fair share of campaigns, and I'm used to hearing, stump speeches over and over again. It kind of feels like Groundhog's Day to a certain extent. But at the same time, this was obviously an instance in which Marco Rubio repeated the same talking point 4 times within about 5 minutes. So that argument doesn't really fly. But yes, I do think the media is partially responsible for this. The media really built up Marco Rubio without properly vetting him, portraying him as somebody who could be a potential leader without really giving it any without giving it a real close look, without holding him up to any scrutiny, without actually testing him. And now that he's being tested, he's sort of becoming the Marco Rubio that a lot of people who have covered him in the Senate have, grown to know.
Mm-hmm. Well, what about his age? Has that been a problem for the media, or did they ignore that particular part of it all along?
I think the age is the only thing that he actually has going for him. He ultimately is somebody who doesn't have many accomplishments in the Senate. That's been sort of an issue on the campaign trail right now. And ultimately, at the end of the day, he's somebody who probably would not be where he is if he was not a charming person who looked good in a suit.
Yeah, he is actually quite charming, and I was impressed with his intelligence the first time I met him. And probably several media representatives have been as well. So, we'll see what happens from here with Marco Rubio and his campaign.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Justin.
Thank you.
And if you want to hear more media analysis on this topic, on this week's Top Headlines, catch Media Buzz with Howard Kurtz, Sundays at 11 a.m. Eastern and again at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Fox News Channel. I'm Lauren Green, and thanks for watching.